And I'd like to bring up, we're very honored to have here an author of a book that in many ways summarizes what this period is all about. It's called Low-Wage Capitalism, and it analyzes the whole period of technology and globalization and the war on the workers, but how we can fight back. And I'm honored, this is the author of the book. He's not the typical author. He was out there picking it with us on the disabled march in front of him. He's not an armchair author. He's a revolutionary fighting author, Fred Goldstein.
Yeah, good.
Thank you, Jerry. Like Larry and other comrades have said, I was so pleased to be on this picket line. You know what? This picket line is what we have dreamed about in microcosm. It's the community and the workers in the plants. It's the Community Labor Alliance that picketed in front of General Motors. And that alliance, once it grows, is unstoppable. There's no way to stop that alliance. And it's going to grow. Because, as has been said here, they have plans to attack the workers, and every attack on the workers turns into an attack on the community. There's no way that you can separate one from the other. When a plant closes, or a dealership, 3,000 of which are supposed to close, and the auto parts plants that close, and the little businesses around the plants that close, and the tax money that doesn't go into the budget anymore, and more social services are cut, teachers are laid off, medical workers are laid off, social service workers are laid off. There's no separating the struggle of the workers in the plant from the struggle of the people in the community, and that struggle has got to become one. And if that's so, we can build the kind of movement that we need. But I want to just offer to you a couple of thoughts for consideration. First of all, as others have said, the money, every nickel and dime in the federal budget comes from the sweat of some workers. They take it out of your paycheck. It's your wages, and the government plucks some of it out and sends it into the Federal Reserve System or in the Treasury. So what's up there in that Treasury is basically money they took every week or 2 weeks, depending upon how often you get paid. That's the money. That's your wages in that Treasury. Whatever they do with that money, they're doing it with your wages. So let's not forget that, because there's implications about this. Now, when we send that money down to Washington, it's supposed to come back to us. It's our wages. It's like you're supposed to, they take out health care or they take out a pension, that's supposed to come back to you. Well, they take it out and send it to the Treasury, that's supposed to come back to us. It's supposed to come back to us in the form of schools, in the form of health care, in the form of social services, in the form of building roads, bridges, or, for that matter, building mass transportation. But it's supposed to come back to us, because it belongs to us. It's us. Now, if it's supposed to come back to us because we worked for it, it's not supposed to go back to General Motors and Chrysler to destroy our jobs, because that's what they're doing with our money.
That's right.
So the first thing I think I want to just throw out on the table is this. We need a political struggle against Washington to get that money, not to close down plants, but to open up plants. That's the first thing we need to do politically. Politically, as a class, as a working class, and as a community, we need to open up a political struggle to get that money, to keep plants open, and to put communities back on their feet. That's what the money should be for. Okay, and that Community Labor Alliance that I talked about is the instrument by which we have to carry out this political struggle. Now, The second thing I just want to offer up for consideration is this. We have all said up on this platform that we have to keep those plants open. Okay, well they tell us we can't keep those plants open because we're not going to be competitive. We're not going to be solvent. We lost $40 billion last year, or $9 billion if it's Chrysler or whatever. Ford lost plenty of money, $25 billion. So we just have to do it. And they'll show you the books, and they'll show you the black and white, where it adds up to the fact that if they don't close these plants, they can't make enough profit. They'll be losing money. They won't be profitable. As long as we accept that, we're bound to make concessions. Because they pose the problem this way. If you don't give us the concessions and we cut some jobs, we're going to shut down and you'll all lose your jobs. That's the way they pose it to you. That's the basic. There's no way around that. That's what's going on. Why does auto workers vote to cut them their own salary, their own wages, and cut their own benefits? It's because they're being told, you accept this or you're all going under. Right. Now, first of all, I want to say about that, I believe any agreement like that is illegal. And no court of law would accept any agreement, written or verbal, that's made under duress. That's not a legal agreement. That's right. If somebody comes to you with a gun and says, sign this, that's not legally enforceable. That's right. Well, what happens when they sit down and they get the Gelfinger in the room, and he, weakling as he is, surrounded by consultants and accountants and CEOs and people from the Treasury and people from Washington and the White House, and they tell him, sign this or else, and he signs. Right. That's not enforceable. It's a violation of the contract, and it's not enforceable as an agreement. We've got to tear up that agreement, and we have every legal right to tear it up. We should not recognize it. The UAW should not recognize that illegal contract. That's number one. Okay, we agree on that. So the question is, now what? Now what?